But yeah, it was a Tudor Pelagos, and I was like, wow,
Might have
I
been.
want that watch, right? So I look at the odds. There were 400 tickets. It was like $30 a ticket or 20. I don't remember now. But I bought $800 worth.
Oh my God.
So I went like, you know what? I'm gonna go full on. I'm gonna get in. And I said to my wife, look, I'm buying $800 worth of tickets. She was like, really? You reckon you're gonna win? I said, look at the odds. No, you can't beat the odds. Look. So I bought $800 worth of ticket. Didn't win. Yeah, I was so devastated. I was, oh man, oh boy. My missus didn't say nothing, because she knew I was hurting. But since then, I told myself, you know what? I'm just gonna be easy. I'm just gonna buy one ticket a draw. That's all I'm gonna do. One ticket a draw.
Welcome back, guys, to Wolf Watch Club. My name is Gabriel, your community host, and I'm here with Jen, our Breitling SuperOcean Heritage winner, winner's choice. And today, sitting down with the man himself, get to know him, his collecting journey, his collecting philosophy, as you guys already know. And then we're going to also get into his SuperOcean win with the Breitling and which one he ultimately picked. So, Jen, floor is yours. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into watch collecting.
Right. So, hi everyone. I'm Jen. I'm 42. I'm a technical supervisor offshore. So I've been seafaring for about 18 years, almost 20 years now. I got into watches when I was 13. My first watch was a fake Rolex that my dad gave me. It was a counterfeit. But I didn't know any better. So I used
Good
it for
start.
about 6 months to a year. It was a date just, but it was like 45 mil. It was a ridiculously big watch. I remember that. So I went to school for 6 months, and the face on the watch kept going off. I brought it to a watchmaker, a local watchmaker, and he told me it doesn't do fakes, and that took a toll on me, right? As a 13-year-old, I thought it was a genuine Rolex, and I got knocked back. So I told myself I'll buy myself a real watch once I start working. So I think my first real watch, I had a few Seikos in between.
Hmm.
I had a Seiko 5, I have a SKZ, I had a Hamilton. It was a chronograph Hamilton. I had that was my first watch I bought myself when I started my working career. That was probably about 18 or 19. And when I started working offshore, I got myself a Datejust 1633. I think it was a two-tone with a tapestry dial. Um, it was a really beautiful watch.
Hmm.
Since then, I've gotten more watches. I flipped them, and yeah. So at the moment, I think the watches I have about six or maybe about nine in my collection that I rotate over. But since then, I've
Okay.
gone through a few watches. Yeah.
Nice. All right. And so, oh, and then let's actually do the before I continue, let's do the wrist check. I'm gonna take a guess at what's on your wrist. Is that a Blancpain?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's a 50 Phantoms. It's a
Okay.
45. It's a 45. The first tribute.
Okay, so
Uh,
I,
this
I I I could tell by the, well, not only the case shape, but I could tell by the at the 6 o'clock, the like the it's almost like a radioactive kind of symbol type thing, right? Well,
Yeah.
actually, that's the indicator, right? It's like the water indicator. If water gets into the case, it changes color, I believe.
Now, so this is a
Uh,
no radiation tribute. So basically, what you
oh,
have is
okay.
just a no radiation symbol on, and it's the first tribute watch that Blancpain did. This was in 2010 that I got this, 2010, 2011. So this was pretty much the very first tribute watch that came out.
Okay. So I,
Yeah.
I was I was right initially. It was like, yeah, the little radiation
So it,
symbol. So it's the tribute. Got it.
yeah,
Wow, that's awesome. I love that watch. No, that's
uh,
and how big is that watch? That's like a 44, 45.
45. It's a 45.
Dang.
But
Okay.
it sits quite low, like so it's because of the cushion case. So if you look at the case itself, it's the way it's cushioned, it actually sits quite low on the wrist. Feels more like
Okay.
a 44, 43.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, I want to. Eventually, hopefully, we'll see if I can afford a Blanc Pond of 50 fathoms. I love the history behind it. I love the design of it.
Hmm.
Um, you don't see it very often either on most people's wrists. Most people are usually wearing a Submariner or I mean, and literally anything else. Blanc Pond you don't typically see. Um,
No.
so I've got here my Omega DeVille Prestige. It was
Ah,
kind of
nice.
kind of a little hard to see, but that's all right. Oh, there it is. There you go.
Ah, yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's got the 8800 caliber in it. Super
Mm-hmm.
dressy, super light. Really, really soft on the wrist too. If you know what I mean, like when a watch is like so nicely finished that it's just so soft on the wrist. It doesn't pull any hairs. It doesn't feel super clunky or super heavy or anything. It's just beautiful watch, beautiful watch. But I like the bigger sized divers like the Blancpain. I mean, I have a Mito Ocean Star GMT that's like 43 millimeter. It's pretty
Mm-hmm.
thick and pretty big. I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually getting that service currently. Um, I've had some like big Bulivas. I have a huge Citizen diver right now. I love those types of watches just because it gives it nice heft, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this is one of the bigger watch I have, and it's been my daily beater for the last 12 years. I think I just got this out of service last month. So
Nice.
yeah, unfortunately the bezel only cracked and I had to send it in, but I got it fixed and it looks brand new, you know.
Okay.
But
And
yeah,
so then and so then a little unrelated, but where do you so because obviously you're in Singapore, where does and it's Swatch Group, if I remember correctly, Swatch Group is the
mhm.
parent company of Blancpain. Where do you send your watch for service? Does it get sent to the States or does it get sent to a service center by you?
No, so yeah, so like we do have a Blancpain boutique. I think there's two in Singapore, right? So I send it to the
Oh, okay.
boutique and they had it sent to Hong Kong. So from what I
Oh, okay.
understand, there's only two places in the world that they would send it to, either Switzerland itself or Hong Kong, and mine got sent to Hong Kong. Took them
Okay.
about 4 months to get it serviced.
Oh my God. And it was just like a routine service, like the oils and stuff like that, just they clean it.
Yeah, so the bezels had to be changed out. There was a few things though. So they changed out the barrels in them. So they changed out three barrels. The hands, I think it was the second hand. They said there was a bit of tarnish, so they swapped that out. Um,
Oh,
a few things, yeah. But yeah, it took
okay.
them about 4 months, and which was fine because it's been my daily beater, right? So it's it's gone through thick and thin with me. So I would have
Right,
expected
yeah.
it. Uh,
Okay, yeah. I mean,
uh,
you mentioned you've had it for like 12 years basically now, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So,
Hopefully I wait for another 12.
yeah, I mean, no, that thing's gonna last forever, pretty much. Unless you drop it into the ocean or something and then you never get it back, but that thing is gonna last forever. So,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Yeah, no, love the Blanc Pond. I love to see one. I love to see it on people's wrists. Um, so with your with your journey in your collection, what I know actually I know you said that your first watch was that counterfeit Rolex.
Yeah.
Did you know right immediately right off the bat, hey, this isn't a real Rolex, or did you find out later after the fact when you maybe you wore the watch for a few years, you didn't really think too much of it, and then you were like, you know what? Let me actually see. Is this actually like a real Rolex that I've been wearing now for a few years?
No, no, no. So I was 13, and I think I only had that
Yeah.
watch for about 4 months, 6 months, right? So
Okay.
once it stopped working completely, I went to the watchmaker, and then he said to me that, look, I don't do fakes, and that's when it dawned on
Right.
me that, oh no, being a 13-year-old, I didn't know any better. So I didn't look into watches for years since then. In
Okay.
between, I had a Seiko. I remember having a Seiko 5. I had the SKZ, the Hamilton. But so when I got my first, so when I first got my proper Rolex, the Datejust with the tapestry dial, I think it's a 36 or 38 mil, with a fluted bezel. I got it for about 3 grand, and this was maybe 15, 18 years ago. Got it for about $3,000. and I flipped it 6 months later for 3,500. Then I started realizing that there was a bit of money to be made if you knew what you're doing with watches. The biggest profit I made on a watch was a GMT. It was a Pepsi. It was a 16750, I think it's called.
Hmm.
It was one of the last variation, the Z serial, just before they got into the ceramic. Now this watch I bought for about 3 grand. I bought it for 3 grand. It was magnetized. Took I think I got it degaussed for about $50 and I flipped it for six 2 months later.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't I didn't mean to sell the watch, but I was getting married, right? So I needed the money. So I went to a pawn shop, asked them how much you're going to give me for this watch, and they were like, yeah, we'll give you 6,000 straight away. So I gave the watch, the box and papers and everything. So here's the story, right? So I sold that watch off and I knew exactly what the serial number was. I had it in my mind.
Hmm.
About 2 years later, I was walking along the same pawn shop again. I saw it in the window. So I went in. I said, that watch, how much is it? And they were like, oh, yeah, you're selling it off for 8 or 9. And I was willing to buy the watch, right? But they lost the paper and the box.
Oh,
And so I was like, my wife said to me, just let it go, buy something else. And I just walked on.
so
Yeah,
the
mom,
so the pawn shop lost the box and papers
the
at some
pay.
point?
Yeah, they did. So I think they sold it to someone else, and he came back and returned the watch. He flipped it again, and he flipped it maybe not without the box and papers, and they didn't have the box and papers anymore. So yeah, so they wanted 9 grand for a watch that is sold them for six, and then yeah, just didn't happen. Got something
Oh,
else, I think.
wow. Oh my
Yeah, but I
God.
flipped a few. But all in all, I flipped a few watches, and that helped me build the collection I have at the moment. Um, some of them I do regret flipping. Some of them I'm glad I flipped. So yeah.
Okay. So so here's an interesting question then.
Hmm.
Do you see certain watches as investment pieces essentially? So obviously, in this world that we're in, especially post COVID, right?
Hmm.
The whole craze with Rolex, Cartier, Omega, certain models, right? A lot of people now buy specific pieces for investment. They keep them in the safe, or they wear it maybe once every month or anything like that. But then, they buy the watch to enjoy it for a few weeks, few months, few years, whatever the case is, to then sell after. Do you think that certain watches are investment pieces, or do you think, or is that not the case, or you buy a watch
Well,
just to enjoy for a short bit, and then you're like, hey, I can just resell it, put the money into something else, and then enjoy that for a little bit?
all right. So I buy my watches to wear them. I don't really. But the way I look at it, they are expensive. It's collecting watches is an expensive hobby, right? So at the
Very.
end of the day, if something does happen to me, it's a heirloom for my family.
Hmm.
Um, I don't. There's no watch that I've kept so far that I would not use. Um, Saying that most of the watches I've collected, I bought maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, before the whole market
Mm.
went nuts, right? So what I like say that the two-tone submariner that I bought it for about 10,000 Sing dollars. I think that's about 8,000 US, and now it's going
Hmm.
for 20,000 on the used market. So I I think it's just time and inflation that's spiked up the prices of watches, and they are a lot more expensive now. But I buy my watches to enjoy them, not to keep them as investment
Cool.
pieces. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, because that's always a big debate, right? With especially with luxury watches, it's like, because you also hear about people who've just made their whole livings and just whole businesses off of watch flipping, which is kind of crazy to me that you can continuously generate income by doing that, but it's also super risky. So I mean, I
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't do it. I've sold watches in the past, of course, but I've never had anything that was I sold more than what I paid for it. It's usually
Hmm.
just, hey, either I just stop wearing a particular watch, or maybe I just I wanted to put the money towards something else. Um, so with your current collection then, so just give me just a quick lay of the land of what brands you have currently. Are you drawn to a particular style? Like, are you drawn to the dive watches? Are you drawn to um, just like sports watches, dressy watches? What's like your
Well,
what's
so
your collection?
so okay, so I've got the Blancpain on my wrist, right?
Hmm.
So I've got this two-tone date just.
Ooh,
It's with
that's
a matte
beautiful.
dye. Yeah, so this I bought in 2011. So I've got this. Um, this is my travel watch. So when I go seafaring, Tudor Black Bay Heritage.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
This is the one I travel with, and to be honest, it gets much more recognition than the Blancpain. I mean, I've had guys come up to me and tell me that's a beautiful watch. You know that
Yeah.
what have you got? So this is the one, the first iteration with the smiley face with the ETA movement. So I've got that. So for the dress watch, I've got everyone needs a dress watch,
Yes.
right? This is Patek weekly calendar.
Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, so that's my dress watch, right? Doesn't get much use, but the reason why I went for with a weekly calendar is because when I go offshore, I go for weeks at a time. So I thought a useful complication for me would be having something that tells me what week of the year it is. So
Hmm.
a weekly calendar. And my newest acquisition, well, it's actually a fun one, is this Seiko Jaws.
Oh, the Jaws was it like the fifth it was like the 50th anniversary or something like that.
Yeah. So
Oh wow.
this one here I've not worn yet because I bought it with my uncle and we both got it together, and when I looked at mine's serial number 2 out of 5,000. I'm not sure if you can catch it on camera, but so it's literally 0.0002 out of 5,000. So it's a first production piece.
Right,
And
because usually number one is like the manufacturer keeps it for themselves basically as like I think
yeah,
anyway.
I
They usually keep number one to then like display somewhere in like a museum or
right.
to have it
So
in the archives.
it gets sent to reviewers and all that, so it gets sent
Yeah.
around. Yeah. So I got so that's why I thought I'll keep this for wear this on a special occasion.
Wow.
Um Now besides these, I've got a few more watches that just not on me. I've got a Kurono Tokyo. I'm not sure if you know Kurono
Okay.
Tokyo. I think it's a small brand from Japan. It's a watchmaker in Japan, and I've got a watch from him, and I've got a rose gold Daytona, 116505, I think. The Yeah, so
Wow. Okay.
that's some of my serious watches. I've got more, but just too many to name.
Wow. Okay, you've got you've got some seriously heavy hitting pieces. Some
Ah,
serious pieces. I mean, the Daytona, the 50 Fathoms, the Tudor, of course. I mean, Tudor is the Black Bay especially. I mean, uh Time Teller Jory, he was saying on the stream on Sunday that like the Pelagos, for example, is like, just a insane value for money watch. I mean, everything from Tudor, in my opinion, is value for money. So I'm not surprised that you actually get the most compliments about the Tudor because it's just such a beautiful looking watch. That Patek though is absolutely insane.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
those are the types of Pateks that I like. I'm not really a fan of the Nautilus or the Aquanaut, to be honest. The Aquanaut is just too I don't know. I just really don't like it. It's just me.
Uh,
Nautilus I like a little bit better, but I like the design more of like the Royal Oak and other like the famous like Genta sports watches. But that Patek is some serious business. So you only wear that for like formal, special occasions, basically, or do you actually wear it fairly often?
well, it goes on a rotation with the rest of the watches, but not as often because yeah, I'll probably wear this more on a formal occasion. So if
Yeah.
there's a formal occasion, I'll probably wear this or the Kurono Tokyo because that's a dressy watch as well.
Okay.
Um, so the reason why I went with the weekly calendar as well is because it's not a common complication. It's not one that you
Right.
see many people rave about, and it doesn't I think it's quite underrated. No, the
Yeah.
wiki calendar itself, no, it doesn't get the recognition it should be getting, and I I just feel that a few years down the line, this is probably going to have a cult following, being a stainless steel Patek with a complication that's a Calatrava, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I do like the Nautilus. I do like the Nautilus, but I never really got around getting one because most of the watches that I collect depending on where I am in life.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
most of my watches are just personal preference rather than what's hot in the market.
Yeah.
Like say, even with my Blancpain, no one, no one goes around buying a 45 mil anymore. But no, so this, no, I mean that's what I think, right? I
It's
might be
true.
wrong.
You're right. I think we're now going back to trending smaller in case size. No more is are the days of like the big 45, 46. Well, I mean, some brands out there obviously still do that, but a Blancpain is a Blancpain. I mean, if someone knows anything about Blancpain and the history of behind that watch, it doesn't matter what
Mhm.
size it is. It's a Blancpain 50 fathoms. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
yes, I think manufacturers are now starting again to trend to smaller sizes because I mean you see the trend now is men are now wearing like 36, 38, 39 millimeters again.
Hmm.
More like in like dressy like formal situations. But you don't see as many of those really really big watches. I mean, you know, there's still some great ones.
No,
I don't I just
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
buy and wear whatever I like, which I'm sure you do the same. So
Mm.
yeah, but once you start getting, I feel like the 50 fathoms, the one that you have, would be like the absolute max for me that I would attempt to pull off. Already like the Mito, it's like 43 millimeters if I remember correctly. It's kind of big, but it's not hanging off my wrist yet. But I feel like if I went
Yeah.
45, it'd be like, okay, this is it's like a dinner plate on my wrist.
So before the Blancpain, my daily watch was a two-tone sub. I wore this everywhere. I wore this around the world. Went offshore with it. I got married wearing this watch. I had this watch on when we had our daughter. So and what happened was after a few years, it started getting a bit too much attention. I'll be going around and
Mm.
I'll see
Hmm.
people flicking down, looking at my wrist, and I sort of got
Mm.
uncomfortable with it. So that's when I started wearing the Blancpain more. And
Okay.
coincidentally, being Blanc, I think my whole life, probably three guys have come up to me recognizing my watch and starting up a conversation. In
Okay.
the 12 years I've had this watch, there are three guys. One was at the dinner table, and the other two were in airports somewhere.
Yeah, and that was for the Blancpain you said that you've had
Yeah.
only like three people basically come up to you and be like, "Hey, I know what that is.
Yep.
That's cool. Let me ask you about it."
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I have and I don't know how popular this brand is in Singapore. I know it's popular in India and parts of Southeast Asia. I have a Rado Captain Cook.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Nice.
and it's a 42 millimeter blue dial and beads of rice bracelet, and I actually I've gotten a lot of compliments on that watch. um I feel like probably I've gotten more compliments on that watch than like if I like than someone probably on the average person with a Rolex, a Mariner, because I mean Rolexes here at least
Yeah.
you see them all the time. Submariners, Datejust, Daytonas, they're pretty common here. But Arado, people see that watch and they're like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, what is that?" And
Yeah.
then I tell them, "Hey, well, it's Arado. Um, it's big in other places, not here." But there
Yeah.
are people here, of course, that know about it, and I've talked about it before in a previous episode. I think it's or actually no, it was my community member submission. I think it's a very highly underrated watch. I feel the
Mm-hmm.
same about a lot of Swatch Group brands. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
highly underrated brands. Blancpain even kind of is. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's underrated. Maybe just people just I don't know. I guess maybe they just forget that there's this really cool historic brand just there. I mean, yeah, I guess it is underrated. Same with Mito, same with Rado. Everyone knows Omega, of course. That's like, that's Swatch
Yeah.
Group's big money maker, basically. Um, so so you said that the Submariner attracted a lot of attention. I mean, I'm sure it did because it's two tone, blue dial. What's it like to wear? And as far and based on my knowledge, I could be totally wrong, but it's just based on my knowledge
Mm-hmm.
because I like to learn and research other places, other cities in the world. As far as I know, Singapore is relatively, or not relatively, it's pretty safe. It's a pretty
It is.
safe city and country. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so is wearing like those high-end, kind of somewhat flashy watches okay? Like, are you good walking around typically, or maybe I don't know if culturally maybe there's a different time and place to wear watches like that. Like, tell me a little bit about what the like what the culture is of like those types of watches.
Right. So now Singapore is relatively safe. I've never felt unsafe wearing any of my watches out anywhere.
Cool,
That includes the 116505 Daytona. Um,
nice.
I people do recognize an expensive watch. Like if I had to go into a store and they
Hmm.
see a Rolex at my hand, they know straight away that okay, that guy is wearing a Rolex. So does get recognized, but not in a bad sense. Like I'm not
Cool.
going to I would say Singapore is relatively safe wearing fancy watches, that's for sure. Where I do feel unsafe is when I go traveling. Like say if I go to India or go to some part of
Mm,
Southeast Asia, that's when it starts picking up tension that I don't really need. So that's when I started shying away from using my two-tone uh, Lucy, and I went with
yeah.
my Tudor. Funny thing is though, I get more conversation about the Tudor than the Bluesy. People
Of
come
course.
up to me asking.
Yeah.
I
Of
just don't know
course.
why. Yeah, in a bar, in the airport, in restaurants, people. I'll sit down and have a chat with someone. You'll say, "Look, that's a nice watch. What do you have on?" And I'll share with them, tell them what Tudor is, tell them the history, tell them that it's a sub company of Rolex. It's and
Yeah.
it does get a lot more attention. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think Tudor's design language is there is it's obviously there's that Rolex DNA in there with like the cases and things like that and the dial designs.
Mhm.
But maybe people are just here's my theory. I just think people are maybe sick of seeing Rolexes everywhere, that they see something that's not a Rolex and they're like, "Oh, that looks cool." So, and again, nothing wrong with Rolex, but
No, no.
in many major cities, that's typically all you see is Rolexes. You'll see some Omegas. I see a lot of Speedmasters in my area.
Hmm.
Very rarely will I ever see a Tudor. Very rarely will I ever see anything from Swatch Group other than maybe a Moon Swatch. Moon Swatches are pretty common now, of course.
Hmm.
But anything beyond that, yeah, I don't see Blancpains. I don't see very many Tudors. So it's always nice
Well,
when you wear something like that and it's appreciated by someone.
yeah. Tutors were actually pretty common in Singapore. Like I remember back when I was a teenager, back in the 90s, in the year 2000, even I would see people wearing a Tudor Prince, the date just looking one. I remember seeing a few submariners, the Tudor submariners, but they didn't pick up the fame and the traction they have now. So it just went under the radar. And I think that's how the whole watch industry is. Like, back then when I had my Blancpain, Blancpain was, we had big watches like Panerai, Breitling, Bell and Ross, some of the 45 from Bell
Mm-hmm.
and Ross, and everyone was going on about that. And then that sort of faded off. And then, like you said, people are more into 39 mil now, 38. So as time went on, and I went on collecting my watch, I decided that I would buy and use what I want to use instead of following what the trend is. So that's why if you see, I don't have a black submarine, I don't have black dive watch. Like this has a bit of red in it. My Blancpain has that no red dial. My This is a blue, so every single watch I buy, it's a bit of what I want in a watch, not what the market's going towards.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So all right, so let's now jump into your Breitling win.
Uh,
So uh first let's start by letting the people know which Breitling you went with.
so I went with the blue 44 mil on mesh. That's the watch I went with. Reason being is because I think it has a cleaner face. There's not much literature on the watch compared to the 42.
Hmm.
The date wheels in blue as well, so I think it helps with the symmetry of the watch a bit more, and as well getting a mesh bracelet, right? So,
Yeah, so like we were talking before we started the episode, the and I had a Breitling uh uh associate when I went to a boutique in New York tell me this when I was looking actually at like the Super Oceans, and she had specifically mentioned, hey, here's my info, if you want to get a Super Ocean, especially get it on the bracelet, because then you can just buy the rubber strap later and then you can just swap it out. Um,
mm,
okay, so blue 44 on the mesh.
hmm
So was this your first Wolf Watch Club draw that you entered? Did you enter in any of the other ones like this like the Aquaterra that Mark Martin got, the
uh,
Wimbledon that Mark Martin got as well, the Starbucks that Greg Lewandowski got. Was this your first draw, or have you been behind,
now, no,
already
no.
been
So
playing for a little bit?
yeah, so the first draw I did was, I think, a couple of months ago. It was on a Tudor Pelagos.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it was I'm not sure if it's the right hand, the lefty Tudor Pelagos. Was it a lefty? I'm not sure now. But yeah, it was a Tudor Pelagos, and I was like, wow,
Might have
I
been.
want that watch, right? So I look at the odds. There were 400 tickets. It was like $30 a ticket or 20. I don't remember now. But I bought $800 worth.
Oh my God.
So I went like, you know what? I'm gonna go full on. I'm gonna get in. And I said to my wife, look, I'm buying $800 worth of tickets. She was like, really? You reckon you're gonna win? I said, look at the odds. No, you can't beat the odds. Look. So I bought $800 worth of ticket. Didn't win. Yeah, I was so devastated. I was, oh man, oh boy. My missus didn't say nothing, because she knew I was hurting. But since then, I told myself, you know what? I'm just gonna be easy. I'm just gonna buy one ticket a draw. That's all I'm gonna do. One ticket a draw. So since then, I didn't do the one for the Terra, the Aqua Terra, or the
Hmm.
Rolex. I think I did. I'm not for sure which one I did. No, but there were a few others that I joined, but it was more like one ticket or two ticket a draw, and that's it. Even for the one with the Breitling, I didn't give it much thought. I looked at it and was like, yeah, I'll just drop. I'll just buy a ticket. If I win, I win. If I
Hmm.
don't, $30, whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember, so I was sending my daughter to school. I was walking her to school, and I had a text, and it was the email, right? And it said, "Congratulations, yeah, you won a Breitling SuperOcean." So initially, I thought it was a scam. I was like, that can't be right. So I went to YouTube, looked at Jordy's video, and he said my name out right, and from Singapore, and I was like, oh man, no way, I beat Mark. What are the chances?
Sorry, Mark. Oh
Sorry, Mark.
my.
Yeah, so one
Um,
ticket. That's all I did. Just one ticket. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. Just buy a ticket. If I win, I win. If I don't, that's fine. You know.
Yeah. So before I joined Wolf Watch Club to help them out, I started out which one was the first one that I did? I think it might have been the OP, the 41, the Blue Oyster
Ah, yeah.
Perpetual. I think that
Right,
might have
right,
been I think that was the first one that I entered in. Um and I also was just like, okay, you know what? Odds are good. There's really no need for me to go spending a lot of money on it. I mean, so I think that's what I did. I bought usually one or two tickets. I think on the Longines Legend Diver, I bought a few more because the ticket entry was so low that it was the same for, like one entry for like one of the more expensive watches. So I was just like, I'll try
right,
my luck
right.
on the Longines. Um so okay, so you had your name read. Well, you
Mm-hmm.
went back into the stream and had your name read. So
Mm-hmm.
then were you still I mean I don't think you were skeptical at that point because I mean obviously, you've seen the past winners. Um but like were you just in a state of shock? Were you just kind of like, wait,
I must say,
what?
I probably saw the video like 10 times just to make sure I'm seeing it right. You know, yeah. It was 6 a.m. It was 6 a.m. in the morning in Singapore, and I think it was 6 or 7, and I was blank. You know, I was like, no way. And it took about 2 hours before it dawned on me that I did win the Breitling, and yeah, since then I'm still in a state of shock. I don't think I will be able to accept that I won the watch till I actually have the watch in hand. Like it's I've never won anything this big in my life ever.
Yeah, I mean and also such a great watch. Like
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
remind me again, you don't have any Breitlings currently, right, in your collection? Will this be the first Breitling?
No, it would be, yeah. It would be the first Berlin, yeah. And I'm quite interested in this one, with the whole with it having a Tudor movement inside. I'm quite interested in seeing what the watch is like and having it. Yeah,
Yeah.
looking forward to it. That's for sure.
Nice. Yeah, the Breitling. Yeah, again, I've said it like 1,000 times. Super Ocean, amazing, amazing, amazing watch. I want to get one so bad, but I need to be patient. I need to wait. Um, so and then how was the process like with Mark reaching out, being like, "Hey, you did win," and then just kind of tell us the process of like like the verification of who you are, just confirming everything, um, stuff like that.
Smooth as like the guys at Wolf Watch Club have been so accommodating. They've been so nice and so open. So a couple of hours later, Mark hit me up, said to me, "Hi, congratulations, you won the Super Ocean. If you don't mind sending back a picture of your ID so we can verify you're above 18, and if you could let us know quickly what your preference is and whatnot."
Hmm.
So I had a quick email from Mark, explained to me the whole process, told me how long it's going to take, and it was really accommodating. And he showed me all the various models I had an option from, showed me pictures, and he said to me, "Look, whichever one, take your time, let me know what you need, and we'll have it sent out." So I told him I'm going with the 44 blue. Um, he had it out almost, I think it was that very day, if not the next day. Yeah, it was really smooth. No issue.
Yeah, they're very quick with getting the watch out to you. Super transparent with where the watch is coming from, of course. And
Mm-hmm.
and they typically provide like tracking and everything for you, so you know exactly when it's gonna arrive. So you said I think you had mentioned before the episode it's coming Saturday, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Saturday, yeah. That's what it says on UPS anyway.
So you're gonna be like waiting by the door, like.
Oh man, I think I've only probably slept what 8 hours in the last 3 days.
Oh my, the excitement is, I mean, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. If I was told I won a Breitling Super Ocean, I also would not be sleeping. I'd be wide awake, waiting till I see, at least for me, until I see the truck pulling into the parking lot and the guy is coming up. I'm gonna run out and be like, "Hey, that's me."
Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah.
Oh man. So, are you gonna enter into the new tutor Pelagos draw?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I will be entering. I won't be going nuts and buying 20 tickets or anything. I'll just be
Right.
doing what I'm doing, buying one or two, maybe three at most.
Okay.
But yeah, I will definitely be in for sure.
Nice.
I'm not
See
going to be a
that.
next mark. I'm not going to be Mark and win next watch. I don't think. But let's see what the odds are.
Well, you don't, well, you never know. You really don't.
Uh,
When I was talking to Greg Lewandowski recently, that was something that we were talking about towards the end was uh you know, if you can afford to buy a few tickets, just buy a few. You don't have to go crazy. You really never know because the odds are really good. I'm not too familiar with like the other with like too many other draws that have odds as
odds
low
is good.
as
Yeah.
Wolf Watch Club. I mean, seriously, you can just buy a ticket or two and then you get to hear your name read live on stream. Uh saying you won some crazy watch. Are you also entering into the Sprite, the Rolex?
I'm already in. I think I've got I
Okay.
think two tickets into the Sprite.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm already
Okay.
in the Sprite. Yeah, but odds in the Sprites are quite. It's a bit more. Huh? It's about 4,000 tickets in total for the Sprite.
Um, Yeah, I think it's like I think it's like yeah, 3,999 or something like that, and it's going for like a whole month, or maybe 3,500. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. Um, and then the entries
Someone bought
are
60. Yeah,
someone
someone
bought
bought 60
60.
tickets. Yeah, yeah.
What? It wasn't Mark Martin, was it?
No, no, no,
Okay.
no.
Uh, we're never gonna live that down, Mark. We're never gonna live it down. Oh man. Um, So yeah, okay. So and now also this conversation now makes me really want to get a tutor. You've really
Mm,
I've always liked tutor. I've always been kind of back and forth on like which model I would get. Would it be a Black Bay? But I also like the Tudor Royal, which is kind of like their it's like a very dressy um like sporty watch that they have. Um
mhm.
But
But
probably
yeah,
Black Bay would probably be my choice, or the Ranger. Ranger I actually really like as well. Um,
uh,
they have such cool designs and cool watches. So I think now this conversation is inspiring me to take a look at Tudor.
no,
Yeah, you've
I'll
got
say if I had to keep if I had three watches to choose from my own entire collection, the Tudor is definitely going to be up there in the for sure. Yeah,
wow.
it's
Okay.
hard to beat. Price the value to performance, and I've had this watch for about 8 years, 8 years, 10 years now, and still working as well as the first day I bought it. I can't fault the Tudor. Such a good watch, so robust. I've
So you have
worn it off.
so you haven't even serviced it at all yet in those 8 years
No,
either, right?
no, it keeps about 4 seconds a day, right? It keeps, yeah,
That's really all you need, right?
yeah. So it's keeps good time. There's no date complication on this one either, so it's easy to set.
hmm
And yeah, can't fault the Tudor. I really love the Tudor, 100%.
I would really love to see maybe in the future maybe I have to let Mark know um the new was it? It's the Tudor, it's a Black Bay, but it's like that light blue, the one that just came out a few months ago. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that really nice light blue. That would be a cool watch to put up for a draw as well. I mean, only seen it in photos. That thing looks crazy. I'm really a sucker for like light blues, even dark blues as well. I'm a blue dial kind of guy. I think at one point I had like almost the whole collection was just blue, and I was like, all right, I should probably diversify, and maybe I should branch out maybe to like black, white, maybe red, maybe, you know.
Is that with a
Now
ceramic dial? Is that with
I
a
th
ceramic dial? Or...
I think so. I don't remember the
Uh,
exact details of the watch. I just remember seeing that it came out. It was this beautiful bright blue, and I don't remember the size. I don't think it's a, I think it's a 30. Was it a 39? I don't remember actually what sizes the black bays come in. I think they come in like 41, 38, 39. I think they have it pretty much in every size, actually.
mhm,
36 I know
mhm.
they have as well. I don't remember exactly which one. I'll throw an image up in the video anyway so people know what I'm talking about. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, man,
I'll,
Jan, yeah, you've inspired me to get a tutor. So I hope that I get a tutor now.
but tell you what, I want to get myself a Captain Cook. I was actually
Ah,
eyeing a Captain Cook for months now.
it's such a great, very slim. The beads
Hmm.
of rice really pops as well.
Hmm.
Again, there's not that many watches. For the exception of like I know you see it more on like micro brands. I feel sometimes I know Baltic, the French brand. That's like a main design feature on their watches. They have a really cool beads of rice bracelet that's on their
Uh-huh.
models, but you don't see a lot of luxury watches, I would say. I mean, Rado's more like I don't know if I would call it entry level luxury, but it's kind of like mid level luxury. But you don't see very many watches with the beads of rice. I know Doxa has it as well. Um, they have like the what is it, the sub 300T and 200 models. They have the beads of rice.
Yeah,
Um,
yep, yep.
but
I
the
think I've seen that one. Yeah.
yeah, but and the Captain Cook too just looks great on any strap as well. So I went a little crazy when a couple of years ago I did something that's people may consider sacrilegious in the watch world. I bought this really beautiful brown bunt strap, like a and I threw the Captain Cook on it, and I'll throw a photo up in the video, and people can tell me whether I'm crazy or not. But it just looks it looks amazing on it, and I know it's a diver technically. Um, I mean, no one's gonna be going diving with a Captain Cook anyway, so it doesn't matter. Um,
Yeah.
you know, but as soon as I threw it onto the strap, and I only do it for like the fall and winter when it starts to cool down, and kind of give the watch a bit more of a warmer tone to it as well.
Hmm.
Um, it's just a great combo. But then also just throwing it on a regular leather strap, throwing it on a NATO. Um, yeah, I mean, I think yes, definitely. If you can get one because now they have a bunch of new colorways as well. They have they have blue, green, black. They have red. They have I think like now like a light blue or like a teal one.
Hmm.
Um, you can get like two-tone ones now where it's silver and gold on the bracelet. Yeah, it's just a killer watch. I think everyone should have one. You
Well, should
know,
have one.
I think everyone should have one. Mark, I think honestly, maybe throw that in as like a like a mid-tier draw because I feel like a lot of people
Yeah.
would go in on a Captain Cook. I mean, if you know about it, you know it's a really cool watch. It's a really beautiful watch too. I love that thing. That's one of the watches I wear the most, along with the Mito. Um, but anyway,
Right.
enough about the Captain Cook. I could go all day, and enough about Tudor. Jen, thank you for sitting down with me. I'm glad we were able to make this work with the 12-hour the time difference.
I,
Anytime you're getting ready to go to sleep, I'm getting ready to start my day, which is vice versa, which is pretty funny. Um, love your collection. You have some really cool heavy hitting pieces, but then you also have like the Tudor, which you get, people just instantly like they just gravitate to, right? You
Mhm.
have those personal stories. I love that your first watch was that counterfeit Rolex, though. That's actually that's iconic. That's funny as hell. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, do you have any other like anything else you want to share with us? Any parting words? Any messages
No,
to a certain Mark Martin that you want to, tell him you're coming for him?
no. But thanks, Gabriel, for having me on your show. This is probably the first time in my life I've actually been speaking about my watches. It's been a personal thing to me. I've never really been outspoken about the collection I have, and it's always been something I keep for myself. And I'm glad I'm sharing it on your show. Thanks. Oh, and thanks, Mark, for letting me win.
Oh man. If Mark wins again, I don't know what we're gonna have to do at that point. I don't know. Is he really that lucky? We'll have to we'll find out. We'll find out eventually.
I'll keep
Um
buying my one ticket.
yeah, exactly. Hey, yeah, I just why not, right? Why
Yeah,
not?
why not?
There's because there's going to be a lot more cool watches that are going to be coming up in the coming weeks and months. Again, for those in the audience who again are just discovering us for the first time or know of us already, make sure to go to www.wolfwatchclub.com. There's a great FAQ on the website if you have any questions on how the process works. And then, of course, share, like, comment, subscribe this video. We will see you soon. And yeah, also email or DM us too if you want to be featured on the channel. Info at Wolf Watch Club, or you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok now, I believe, as well. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.